Hey, Layton Croft here. It's August 12th, 2026. This is a short video. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about two news releases. One we put out yesterday on August 11th and one we put out this morning. They're both really exciting and they both kind of are the result of a lot of work we've been up to behind the scenes in recent months. So the first one that we announced on August 11th is an expansion of the Jefferson Project. The Jefferson Project is a collection of private mineral leases that we have and we own 100%, and they are all outside of the Brewer property boundary. I'll talk about that in a minute. The second news release that came out today is about an improvement of the commercial terms of the underlying option agreement we have had since 2020 with the Brewer Gold receiver, who represents the state of South Carolina and the federal government through the Environmental Protection Agency. So the agreement is effectively with the government, and I want to give a shout out to the receiver, the state, and the EPA for what has been a very robust period of engagement and discussion, and we're very happy with the outcome. And the outcome is an amendment, the Sixth Amendment to the underlying option agreement. The Fifth Amendment we announced in February of 2024, and there was a very fulsome news release put out then. The main difference between the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment now is the timing of paying the purchase price. Now, you can look back at our news release from February of 2024 regarding the Fifth Amendment, and there's a lot of links in there with additional information that gives you really a fulsome overview of the option agreement and its primary contents and terms and conditions. What we've been estimating all along is that the purchase price, and there's a formula for it, is going to be around 27 million US dollars. It may not exactly be that number, but that's sort of our estimate right now, and it has been. So the Fifth Amendment said that that amount had to be paid in a lump sum in cash at closing if we were to exercise the option agreement, because we concluded that we wanted to build and operate a new mine at Brewer in the future. The Sixth Amendment says, no, you don't need to pay that lump sum amount at closing. And in fact, you don't have to start paying for it until new mining operations, if there will be in the future, are fully permitted at the state and federal level. So that's a really good outcome, and it is a real improvement of the overall risk profile and of just the basic commercial terms of our deal. Now, once that happens, let's say in the future there will be future mining operations and permits have been applied for and all of the ones needed to start the new mine have been received, state and federal, then that payment, that purchase price would be paid over 10 years starting then. 10% per year. So let's say the purchase price number is in fact 27 million US dollars. Then 2.7 million will be paid each year for 10 years after new mining operations are fully permitted. So that's the gist and the essence of the Sixth Amendment that we announced today. So let me go back to the Jefferson Project. So going back to 2016, our company, it was then called Pan-Continental Gold, or PanCon. We had some private leases in the town of Jefferson, and Brewer, the former Brewer Gold Mine, is also located in that same area. Well, obviously we didn't have access to the Brewer property back then, but because of the prospectivity for gold, and in our case copper, in this whole area, over the many decades, there's been private exploration on private land in this area. So we picked up some leases in 2016, and we called that the Jefferson Project. They're private leases with private landowners that give us the exclusive rights to explore and to purchase their property on agreed terms. Now, as of yesterday's announcement, it is about 2,500 acres. For context, Brewer is 912 acres. So it's a very large land package, the Jefferson Project. And it is, if you look at the map from the news release that we put out yesterday, the land in Jefferson mostly is to the west and the northwest. It's all adjacent to Brewer, and it kind of runs up a northwestern corridor. Well, The reason we did this is because of our evolving geologic and exploration model of the Brewer system, and informed by some of our recent drill results of our deep drilling program that we've conducted earlier this year with Oceana Gold. I refer to Brewer as a system. It's not yet a porphyry deposit. We have not made a discovery. We have put out a maiden resource of about 500,000 ounces of gold below and near the former oxide gold mine at Brewer. But this is a huge geological phenomenon. And so having more land when you have a big system is very important for exploration. And if there were to be future mining operations, it's always good to have access to land on a contiguous land package. So it's really exciting. We've negotiated what I think are very favorable terms for the Jefferson Project. The vast majority, I think more than 90% of that land, that 2,500 acres, doesn't have any annual lease payments required for the first 10 years. So we've got now a almost 3,500 acre land package if you were to combine Brewer and Jefferson. And again, for a system as big as Brewer, as we now know, as we've come to know over 5 years of very systematic exploration, it's good to have such a large land package. We're really excited for next steps, and that is all for now.